So, welcome back. We have officially decided to kind of name this, shorten and condense the title from Life Through the Lens of a Believer just to Life as Believers.
Yeah.
As always, my name is Thomas.
And I am Ellington, as you know.
And this is Life as Believers.
Yeah.
So today's going to be a funny podcast. For those of you who are watching with us in the morning, good morning. But we had recorded this subject
Over a year ago.
Yeah, over a year ago. This was supposed to be episode
3.
I think 3
Yeah.
Of season 1. And if you guys have ever tried to record podcast or like Zoom calls across different states, sometimes audios get lost and don't get recorded on either end. And that's what happened to us. So yeah, so that podcast never saw the light of day. And that was talking about working out.
Yeah.
And fitness and life.
It was a good one too, man. We hit so many great topics. And
it was almost 2 hours, I think.
Yeah, it was a long, very informative, very entertaining podcast. And for some reason, my audio on my end did not record or stopped after like the intro. And I was just like, how do I get this back? How do I get something? It just stopped.
Right.
And it was gone into the abyss of lost audio files. And so here we are over a year later
exactly.
talking about working out. But
yeah, and so for those of you that have followed us either in real life, we talk about working out often. It's a big part of who we are and our journeys, not only as individuals, but into content creation, into even some I don't want to say influencers, but influencer style stuff. Revolves around that fitness world. So talk to me about your maybe sports backgrounds. Let's go back from the beginning. And talk about where you started in sports. Were you a football? I mean, that's probably the basic.
I mean, look at my hair. What? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I was just playing. I'm totally playing. But actually, what's funny is the first sport I ever got into was soccer as a kid. I played Pee Wee soccer. Right? That was but that was so fun for me.
You're right.
When I was super young, when I was in elementary school and you had Pee Wee sports, my first Pee Wee sport was soccer. And then I actually got into upward basketball.
Oh heck yeah, dude.
Upward basketball, church league basketball, stuff like that. Did that for a little bit. So I played a bunch of sports as a kid, backyard football with everybody in my neighborhood and stuff like that. But then once I got into middle school, football was my track. That was the main thing. I put everything else aside.
Gotcha.
Played football in middle school. And I wanted to be like my dad. My dad played football in high school and college and all that. And so I was I'm gonna take out to him. I'm gonna go play football. Plus, that's the cool thing to do. Right. At the time, I was in band, and so I was like, band's not cool.
What did you play in band?
Saxophone.
Marching band?
In middle school, we didn't have marching band. We just had regular
gotcha.
class band or whatever. And so, played saxophone in band, and I was like, this isn't cool, and it's not gonna be cool in high school.
You didn't want to march?
No, because I didn't think it was cool, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, y'all. Just a little word of advice. I know we usually get to the recommendations at the end, but if you enjoy music or if you enjoy what you're doing, don't worry about trying to do it through somebody else's lens or you know what I'm saying. There's so much that I probably could have done through music if I had stayed with it. Now here we are, and I'm doing music, but it's I stopped music because I didn't think it was cool. And now so many people now want to be rappers. They want to be producers. They, you know what I'm saying? They want to do that because now it seems to be cool. Back then, if I'm being honest, that wasn't what the ladies was loving. So it was as a middle school kid, I'm this isn't really cool. This ain't what's going to be popular. So that's why I kind of started to play football, whatever. That side note, we'll talk about all that kind of stuff later, maybe another podcast. But so anyways, I started playing football, did that in middle school, up until high school. And like play linebacker and all that stuff. And I mean, it was cool and it was fun, but it wasn't like I wasn't like the star athlete of my school or anything like that. I'm not afraid to say that I wasn't a star athlete. You know what I'm saying? So there were a lot of politics involved at the school that I went to as well, but didn't really like. Wasn't like starting every single game and different things like that. Wasn't getting really college looks and stuff. So that's where I decided to kind of hang that up. My junior year in high school was my last year playing football.
Really?
So yeah.
You did 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
So like for those of you who are watching, you're pretty big now.
Now, yes.
You're what, 6'2", 230, 240?
236.
Yeah.
Resting. Wait.
So.
Yeah, but in high school I was not.
Oh,
no, heck no.
Interesting.
I was like maybe $170 dripping wet. Like, I was not.
Dang.
I was not this size. I mean, I was for a high school. I still had a decent amount of size on me.
Right.
Like for high school, but in comparison to like now and like lifting and all that kind of stuff, like, yeah, no. If I'd have looked like this in high school, there's no way I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? And being like
you'd be D1 athlete,
right, hopefully pro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
but
yeah,
like
now you would, yeah.
But like I mean, obviously that takes a lot of different things outside of just being big. But being at this size back then, I would have definitely had a bunch of offers, and I would say like college offers and stuff like that. I believe, at least.
For sure. I mean, you look at kids now that are in college or in high school, and they're kids are your size now in high school.
Yes,
it's stupid.
I don't get it. I really don't understand it. But yeah.
So like in the weight room or in the football team, like what was the emphasis on like working out? Like were you guys benching a lot, squatting, deadlifting, like just powerlifting, or what was it mainly like just go out and do drills?
Nah, we did both. So like we didn't really lift. I'm trying to think how to put it. So like we had workouts and stuff in high school, like during while we were in school, but like spring conditioning is when we really like hit it hard weightlifting. Because I guess we had a strength and conditioning coach, but like looking back high school wise to like what you see is obviously in college and like what strength and conditioning coaches are now.
Right.
Like it was like, oh, go in here, we're going to bench a little bit and we're going to deadlift. And that would like, it wasn't even really anything like that. We had a weight room, but it wasn't, I felt like it wasn't utilized to its best, ability or whatever. And so like we did weightlifting a little bit. I'll say more in like the spring. And then like summer workouts for sure.
Right.
But then throughout like
this hot in Lexington too.
Oh, it was stupid hot in Lexington. Dude. But the gym, like working out in the gym wasn't bad. But that was summer workouts was like we'll get up in the morning, go out, we go do cardio, we go run, and then like whatever maybe later on after we've done all our running, we go lift. Mm-hmm. So like we get up, stretch, do our hundreds, do our drills and all those kind of things, just like helmet stuff, like no pads, just helmet, kind of go through, all the positions and different things like that. And at that time in the summer, a lot of times that's when they're trying to decide for sure, like, okay, you were saying you're going for this position, but you actually kind of seem like you're going to excel a little bit more on this side. So that's when a lot of the switching.
What were the positions you wanted to do?
So the main position I wanted to do was linebacker, but going into my junior year, they actually put me at DN, or what you would call like spur, or I guess now in college they call it like edge. So like I was DN because I had this like enough speed for a linebacker, but I had enough size to be able to like for pass rushing and stuff like that. And so
interesting.
Played DN for that. But linebacker, I went back and forth from outside linebacker to that spur.
So never offense.
No,
you just wanted to hit people.
Well, I wanted to do offense, but I didn't have the speed for like the position I wanted to play. Like I was like, if I'm gonna, I was thinking like maybe I could play like running back or something. But I'm like, nah, our dude KJ, he was like the running back, like and at the time KJ was like, he was just one of the smaller guys on our team. But when he hit you, you felt it through your core. Like I remember doing Oklahoma drills with KJ, and he knocked my helmet clean off. And I was like,
dang.
And KJ was, I don't know, he wasn't maybe $120. I got 50 pounds on him. He would hit you. Like KJ was a monster, and he was super fast too. But like KJ's work ethic was out of this world. Like I've known him since we were in kindergarten. He was like he was the kid. Instead of going to the playground, he's trying to run through tires. Like for real, I'm not kidding. Like I hope he watches this because like this is a shout out to him. Like he worked his tail off.
That's so funny.
But yeah,
did he go college?
Yeah, he went to college. I believe he ended up getting hurt in college, and so that was one of the things that really sucked. But like he still pushed through it. I think he like tore his ACL or something like that. But
Dang.
He pushed through it and he came back for a little while, and I was just really proud of him to like make it to college and like, go after football and do his thing. So,
so you would say that was like your main sport throughout college or throughout high school, and then like you said you dabbled in like soccer and basketball.
Yeah, as a kid.
Yeah, it's like I feel like everybody or every kid did the I don't know, like was it CISA or whatever the youth like league was for soccer. But you're just all chasing the ball. Like there's no positions there.
And there's no like offsides. There's no like.
It's just huddle around the ball and you're just following it throughout the field.
And maybe pass it. It was like
no, you're not passing that ball. Kicking to the wrong goal half the time too. Yeah, I think we all did that. I remember.
It was so fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's like photos of me. I used to have like bleached blonde hair.
No way.
Oh yeah. So fun. Like bowl cut, bleach blonde hair, and just like this oversized like
that's funny
jersey because I'm a small human. So yeah, I remember seeing those photos. It was just so funny. And then I did the upward basketball stuff. If you didn't succeed in it ever, like I was short back then. I'm short now. I do remember though in like second grade we had like I don't say not like a career goal thing, but it was like, what would you want to like? What do you want to be when you grow up? Thing. Yeah. I remember writing on that piece of paper that I wanted to be a point guard for the LA Lakers. How delusional was I? In second grade?
Big dreams, man.
It was so funny. Well, I just remember watching, like growing up, watching like Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah,
and then seeing like the Lakers of that time. That must have been 2001, 2002.
Wait, when you were in elementary school?
So yeah, second grade.
Yeah, I want to say
maybe 2000.
Yeah, I want to say Shaq was there in 2001.
Yeah, I mean it was like that duo was just insane.
Yeah, they had a lot of great ballers on there at that time. They were like
so growing up watching them, I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah,
and then I mean was never good at it.
Yeah.
Was always like the short kid that can never go against like any tall person.
Right.
Never. But I do remember my mom, like a testament to her, she would have us run drills in the garage, like dribbling drills.
Really?
Where you would do 50 on the right hand, 50 on the left hand, and then 50 back and forth, like almost every day. Just to like get so you're like ambidextrous and playing basketball. So like my oldest brother, we're all right-handed, but he played ball. He played all throughout middle school and I think into high school a little bit.
Right.
Then he moved to football, but like he's right-handed, but his layup on the left side was like unstoppable.
Because you know how to use both.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you see somebody dribbling down on the right hand, you're going to block that right-hand side of the layup.
Right.
And he would just cross over and destroy on left side.
Because he just be able to switch real quick. Yeah.
So quick.
Yeah. That's smart though.
It was wild.
That's definitely smart.
But yeah, upward basketball it got heated. Did you guys ever like get heated?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like
there were some bruisers.
Yes. Upward was not so holy.
No, dude, church ball got heated.
Yeah, church ball got really. It was fun though. I was on a team with actually the PK that I was like best friends with at the time. If y'all don't know what PK is preacher's kid, but I was on his team, and honestly, what was bad about it was that we had other people on our team, but because we were best friends, we'd always just pass the ball to each other.
Oh yeah,
I'd pass it to him if he wasn't open. He'd pass it back to me, like then I'd shoot or whatever. So it was like other people weren't really getting the ball like that much. But I don't know. It was
Did you guys ever have like the stars on the
Yes,
undershirts?
yes, we did. Yes,
For like the
we
Bible
definitely
verses
did.
you remember
Yep.
that week?
Mhm.
Yo,
Yep. And we had
that was so
headbands
good.
too. They actually gave us headbands.
Oh, that's
which was
sick.
lit.
That's tough.
So yeah,
That's tough.
It was like if you showed up to the game, it's like make sure you got your little jersey, you got your headband.
Yeah.
It was like I remember where we played was the church was across the street from my house. So me
sick.
and my dad, we'd like walk over and I'm like, I got my headband on. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Like
Remember
baggy shorts.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Remember the cool kids didn't wear the undershirt.
yeah.
It was just the jersey.
just a jersey.
I mean,
And
weird. Yeah, I mean,
just
it's
BO.
like
Just like
12, 13-year-old boys.
yeah, that didn't want to bathe.
No, just rank. But you were like, dang, you're so cool.
Yeah.
And they were balling.
Ball- just the jersey, no
Balling.
undershirt,
Oh,
like
yeah.
arms all out, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe wristbands or whatever.
Oh yeah, for sure wristbands, and they had like the cool sneakers
That's
that
so
weren't
funny.
from Walmart.
Because I definitely was sporting the Walmart ones.
Or like
that
the
was for
starter.
sure.
The
Oh,
starters?
yes.
Bro.
The starter basketball shoes.
Yeah.
That were not great at all.
No, but they look cool.
They did
They had a
look
star
cool.
on it. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's sick.
And the star went with the upward thing. So
Exactly.
it was like, oh yeah, we got the whole matching
Yeah,
kit.
it was
Like,
dope. I think that lasted probably until maybe 5th grade, 6th grade, maybe for me.
okay.
Because I did, like outside of basketball, my main sport was gymnastics. So I
Right.
started gymnastics in 2nd grade. And as a smaller person, it fit my body type because it was like you're controlling your body movement. And so if you're probably the outlier at your size doing flips still, maybe.
Yeah.
But as a smaller person, like controlling your body on like the rings or on the floor, like it just fit better for my body type. And I remember it got to the point where we were like, I was pretty competitive just as an individual.
Right.
But I got asked to be on the state team probably like a year or two into it. Just so they were building out the guys team. And I was like, heck yeah, let's do this. And I remember we would travel to like Charleston or like North Carolina or even like Virginia sometimes to do like big competitions. And I never was like the top athlete, but I was still a part of the team that I was like best at like the rings and then second best at the floor. And I mean, there was some, I'm trying to remember the number of events. You have rings, floor, the pommel horse,
That thing is scary.
the parallel bars, the vault, and then the high bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there were 6. Yeah, 6 events for the guys. And
Good thing y'all guys didn't do beam.
no,
Oh,
we've done the beam before, just like as like practicing.
Oh, just like
Yeah.
joke messing around.
I mean, I'm not jumping on it. No, we just like walk across and
Yeah.
like try to do some turns. But I remember it was such an interesting time growing up in that sport because it was looked at as so much a feminine sport.
right.
Because like, I mean, guys, you're still wearing leotards. You're
Right.
wearing shorts over it, but you're still in that leotard kind of
Right.
outfit.
You're in the tights.
You're in tights. You're in like shorts, and primarily like you look at gymnastics as like a female sport because of the beam and whatever. And I remember like even practicing ballet, like that was our warm up. Was like you would practice ballet for like body awareness. And it's funny now that like a lot of football players attest their footwork to ballet. But at that time, like growing up, it was like, oh, don't say you do gymnastics.
Right.
Because,
Just say you flip.
right.
Yeah.
And so that was an interesting like upbringing in that sport, but I got fairly good at it. And we ended up winning state 3 years in a row as the team. And then one of our teammates eventually went on to do like Olympic trials. Like he was solid. I don't think he made it,
Right.
but still be able to compete
Yeah,
at
yeah.
17 on the Olympic trials was pretty wild. But yeah, that's where I really like. I mean, I still flip to this day, just knowing like the fundamentals from back then. And I remember, I think I started working out like at 9 years old.
Oh wow.
So we were doing like some bench press stuff, but
Right.
really like the calisthenic kind of workouts, like body
Okay.
weight movements and
Yeah.
stuff. But we had always had some weights in the garage. And growing up, there was like, two older brothers, like this competition, who can bench more, who can do so many push-ups. And I remember my mom and dad, but like my mom was, I would say, the more athletically competitive person, at least teaching us how to do it. And so she would like have competitions between the boys to see who got dessert. So who could do the most push-ups after dinner, you could get dessert.
That's kind of interesting that your reward is dessert.
Oh yeah, like you're working out to like then eat bad food. But it was so fun to try and compete with your brothers to do as many push-ups as possible in whatever time it was. Yeah. Or remember we used like arm wrestling matches to see who would win. And like, again, as the youngest, like you just get destroyed. But like, I remember that was like at 9 years old, having that discipline to work out, to be better at sports. Yeah. And
dang, that's funny.
Yeah. Then I played baseball growing up. My dad was like the T-ball coach and the coach's pitch. And, that was always fun because I remember looking up to like Derek Jeter and the New York Yankees. And
he was one of my favorite players to watch too.
Yeah. Like, him and Albert Pujols.
Oh yeah.
They were those two. Two different teams. Pujols was on the Cardinals, but I remember like growing up, we used to collect playing cards. Yeah, like baseball cards. And it was either Awana's. Yeah, I think it was my Awana's teacher. If you memorized like the verse of that week, whatever it was, you would get like a pack of playing cards.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was such a fun memory growing up. To have that, but yeah, I played baseball for, I think in total probably about 10 years or so, at second base and shortstop. And again, your strike zone is like non-existent. So. That's funny. So you either lean to the pitch and you get hit by the ball, or you're walked half the time, which was kind of fun. But then you get into played for middle school. So I did gymnastics up until probably 5th grade, maybe 6th grade. And at that time, I was probably at the gym maybe 25, 30 hours a week.
Makes sense.
Which was a lot. And I was like, that's the turning point, really. Right. Like you're level 7 in gymnastics, and like to break into that upper last 3 levels before you go and like you're trying to get scouted out for college and stuff, like at level 10, is that turning point in like middle school. And I was like, I don't know if I can continue doing this. Like it was a lot of time to put into it. I was still trying to focus on my grades and then playing baseball and all these other sports. Like 25 hours at this gym was just a lot for me. So I stopped wrestling, or I stopped doing gymnastics, was still playing baseball kind of in the off season, and tried out for the middle school team and didn't make it. And we were Malden was pretty competitive in baseball, but I think I realized then too, like there was just a level above like coach's pitch and a level above of like travel ball. But these kids were trying to play in high school and trying to like, they were just bigger and better at it. And so I ended up doing Taekwondo.
That's interesting.
That was very fun too.
Yeah.
And so I did that for 2 years and got like 1 belt away from black belt. As a kid, it doesn't really mean a whole lot other than like, the forms to do. But I liked the competitive aspect of that because I did do some sparring. And so on Saturdays we would go out and we would fight. Like you would do like sparring sessions on Saturday mornings.
Oh, okay. At the dojo?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant like your brothers go out in the yard and just...
that's it.
He's like, we just go outside and fight.
Yeah, we just fight.
Like, this is what I learned yesterday.
For sure. But I remember like Taekwondo is pretty much just kicks, so you don't really punch. It's all your leg stuff. And I remember I was doing a sparring match, and I remember punching this dude right in the chest, and I was like going ham at it and like not getting any points because punches don't matter at all.
Yeah, it's not about
it was just like getting distance. And then I did some spinning kick and like hit him in the face and like knocked him out. And so the match was called off. But like,
oh wow,
they're like, you can't do that. Like
you can't knock them out.
Not in 7th grade.
Oh, well, I mean,
like it was bad.
Like, you can't knock him out. It's like,
yeah, like it wasn't.
That's funny.
I mean, when you're competitive and like you're going to like the state tournaments and like you're older, like 17, 18, like in high school and stuff, like then you can like do head kicks and stuff. But in 7th grade, yeah, you're mainly just hitting the body and like, getting points. Kicks. So yeah, it's point fighting. I remember that, and it was just so funny that I kicked some person like in the face
and cleaned it,
and yeah, just clocked them.
Dang.
Yeah,
it's
but
contact
then
sport
for sure, like the most contact. But then I saw my middle brother, started wrestling as just like a discipline kind of a thing when he was in high school, and so I remember going to one of his matches, and I was like, oh, I feel like I could be good at this. Like, this would be a fun one to do. And so in 8th grade, I tried out for the team, and for wrestling, they didn't have a middle school team. So it was like Malden High School and then JV team. And they had like the 8th grade class could wrestle with the JV team.
Right.
And the size of the wrestling team doesn't like, you don't have tryouts. It's not limited to any number of people. So you can have 50 people on a team. Only 14 wrestle.
Oh, okay.
But you can have as many as you want to on the team just to be a part of the team.
It's like making mat.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started wrestling and fell in love with it because it was again very similar, I would say, to gymnastics in that body types really mattered.
Well, weight class and all that.
Exactly.
Kind of stuff,
Yeah. And so for me, I was like, in baseball, I couldn't compete with a larger people that were either pitching because they were larger. They could throw faster than I could.
Right.
They could hit the ball farther than I could. All this kind of stuff. Same thing with football. Never really played. I played football for a couple of seasons, but obviously wasn't like a big football person. And then in Taekwondo, like you didn't have weight classes, so you're fighting people larger than you and just getting outpointed or whatever. So in wrestling, I found that you could there was like, I think 14 different weight classes. And so for me, I was a 98-pound kid in 8th grade.
Dang.
Again, tiny, like so small, but I was wrestling other 98-pound kids.
Right.
And
so basically, it's off of your skill level at that point. It's like,
exactly.
You can outbeat me just because you're 30 pounds heavier.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was really fun to see that it was a level playing field at that point. And so it really was like skill versus skill.
That makes sense.
The better man wins.
Yeah.
So I just fell in love with it in 8th grade. And then I got really good once I got into high school. So high school, like the weight classes were 103, 112, 119, 126, 132, 145, 152, 171, 189. I want to say 215, and then heavyweight.
And you have people, well, I guess you would have people that size in high school.
Yeah. I guess 197, 215, and heavyweight. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, so that's the full roster. So I was obviously at the lower end at 103. And there's this other guy named Charlie Cook who was 112. And then another buddy of ours named Mark, he was 119. So we were all we were all buddies. And they both like ran cross country to like stay in shape for wrestling. But all three of us were like really close friends. And we all wrestled together, and it was like a real fun kind of back and forth. But again, kind of like the cream rose to the top. Like you were obviously either had some skill level that was better than somebody else, or you just had more discipline and you were willing to work harder. Yeah. Charlie had a natural skill of wrestling. Never worked hard a day in his life, really, but was just so talented.
Just an athlete.
Yeah, just an athlete. Opposite end, Mark worked his butt off and was so dedicated to like the training aspect of it, but never really caught up to like the skill level. And so for me, I was like, what's that balance between the two? Like work hard in the gym, also working your fundamentals and technique to get really good at wrestling. And so, yeah, I fell in love with that sport, and early on got really into working out. I mean, I'd worked out again since like 9 years old, but once you got into high school, a lot of the workouts we were doing were more that HIIT style workouts that do a minute here, because in wrestling you have 2-minute periods.
Right.
So you work for 2 minutes, rest, work for 2 minutes, rest. And so very similar to fighting as well, but you would have these like circuit training methods, and I absolutely loved doing that kind of stuff. And yeah, I remember like off season we would have Hell Run Fridays that we would start at the high school, and it was 2.5 miles down to like the Taco Bell, I remember. So we'd run 2.5 miles, get a cup of water at the Taco Bell, 2.5 miles back. So 5-mile run to start the workout.
First of all, what 5-mile run to start a workout?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, no, that's my workout.
Yeah.
Like that, but I mean, I feel like with wrestling, like y'all ran about as much as cross country.
Oh, for
like
sure.
Every time that, even at our school, like we'd be out there, like football players or whatever, we're watching and, you know, kind of doing practice. Here come the wrestlers running. And I'm just like, what in the world? Like,
it's like a discipline thing. Because like you can be, I mean, it trains also like cardiovascular stuff as well, but running, I mean, I hate running, but it's such a mental like warfare.
Oh, 100%.
And that's the biggest thing in wrestling, is the mental side of it.
That makes sense. I can see that. I feel like it's like if you can go the distance in this run, you can go the distance in this in this match.
Right.
That makes sense. For us, it wasn't like that for football.
Right.
So it's like
start and stop.
It's like boom, 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 boom. Like it's short little bursts. Like you don't have a long play that's happening for 3 minutes. You're having plays that are happening 10 to 20, maybe 30 seconds.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's more so about the high intensity interval. With that, it's like go, come back, go, come back. You know what I'm saying? Go all out for a little bit, come back down. For y'all, it's like when you're wrestling, there's no break.
Well, and really. I remember there was even a match in at state, my sophomore year. I was winning the entire match, and the last period I got caught in a head and arm, and like I went for a takedown. He caught me and put me on my back, and I had to fight for probably 1:45. Like it was 15 seconds into this round, in the last round or last period, and I got put on my back, and I had to fight for 1:45. Him on top of me like bridged, arched back, like so my shoulders wouldn't touch the mat for a full 1:45. And it was just like, if you can get through this, you win the match.
Wow.
And then you can go on to the finals and you can like try to place. But yeah, like, so running that 5 miles in the Hell Run Fridays kind of puts you in place of like, if you can get through this run without, I mean, and some people did throw up, and it's hot in South Carolina. So
is it? God.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember we worked out we had like 2 gymnasiums. We had like the old gym, which was like the JV basketball team really played in. And then the new gym was for like the varsity and that kind of stuff. But the old gym didn't have air conditioning because again, it was the old gym. So it was like the lesser one that you do PE in there or whatever.
Right.
And so in the summertime, they would cut off all the fans. So it was awful. Like sweat, like you probably like look like a cloud in there because all like the sweat and humidity inside this gym.
Sounds miserable.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Rank.
Yeah, it was so bad. But yeah, the workouts in there, I think that was the first time I like did like a wall ball throw.
Oh, okay.
And come to find out that our strength and conditioning coach for that summer was a CrossFit coach. I didn't know what CrossFit was in high school, like at all. But he was putting us through CrossFit workouts, and I was like, oh, this is sick. Like, this is like, you go 20 reps here, then you do 10 reps of this and then 5 reps of this, and you go back and you do that again for 15 minutes straight or whatever it was. Looking at it now, like that's a really very typical CrossFit workout. And so we never did like the deadlifts. We never did like powerlifting and wrestling. Right. Cause it was like all like dynamic movements and stuff and like a lot of yoga, and just like stretches. But I didn't know, I think the first time I had like actually done bodybuilding style working out, like legit bicep curls, bench press, tricep stuff, was after my first knee surgery, after my second knee surgery. I had tore my meniscus and like the pretty much whole inside of my right knee.
And what was that from?
Wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
we both tore our meniscus doing sport
that
we loved at the time.
Just wild. Like I tore it. No, it was the first knee surgery. So I tore my knee at State. And like the meniscus kind of like folded in on itself. And so they stitched it up. And then like the doctor was like, you should be good to go. And didn't prescribe any like rehab or PT or anything like that. And so that summer I went to this, and this was probably like in May. That summer I went to a wrestling camp that was like, regardless, one of the harder wrestling camps in the nation. And like first week into it, or first couple days into it, my knee was like the size of a grapefruit. Just like swollen, massive. Thought I tore my ACL. Turned out I didn't, but my knee was just shot. And I was like, I can't wrestle like this season. I just can't do it. My knee was just too jacked up. So, because I continued to try to wrestle that summer, did some strength training to get bigger. I was still like, I was 112. It was just trying to get stronger. And my knee just like wouldn't heal. Probably because I didn't take the proper time to do rehab and stuff. So I just worked out like bodybuilding. I got a Y membership and just did straight bodybuilding for like an entire year, and went from, I think the state match I wrestled was at, the weight class was 105 or 106 because I had like some pound allowance stuff. And from that state tournament to probably like fast forward a full season, going into my senior year of high school, I was weighing like maybe 135, 136. To put on a full 20 pounds or 30 pounds over the span of a year. Right. Or year and a half. And it was because it was like taking creatine, pre-workout, protein shakes, lifting. Like I lifted at school when we had like the weightlifting class. Yeah. I don't know if you guys had.
We actually did have a weightlifting class that I took. I want to say it was my senior year, but I didn't like put a lot into it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, it was. I'll explain that weightlifting side of the story later. But yeah.
So we had our first period was weightlifting for wrestling. Like was our wrestling class, and so you would come in and weightlift, and then go to your classes. At lunchtime, we would probably go down to the gym, either run or like do steam showers.
So not eat lunch?
Pretty much. I mean, for wrestling, you just wouldn't really eat lunch if you're cutting weight or whatever.
That's
but
true. Jeez.
We were allowed to go down there and work out or like turn the showers on and do like jump ropes in the shower, like to steam.
Like the steam.
Yeah. And then obviously shower and clean up and then go back to class. But then I would go, because I wasn't wrestling, I would stay for practice to help coach. And then I would leave and go to the Y and work out again. So I was doing like 2-3 day workouts for a year and gained like 30 pounds.
Right.
Came back my senior year of high school, and people were like, "Are you on stuff?
You
yeah, are you injecting stuff? Like, what you doing, bro? How did you get 30 pounds heavier?
Oh man, yeah.
At 17 years old." I was like, "Well, you just worked out."
I worked out. I lifted. I lifted weights.
Just lifted a whole lot of weights.
Those 45s clanking together.
Oh, for sure. And I think I got up to like my bench was up to like 250, 245.
What?
I was going hard. I wasn't running gear, but I was going hard, dude.
That's crazy.
Because I had nothing else to do. And I was like, well, I can't wrestle right now because the knee is still messed up. And so it was, just upper body too, like no legs.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't squat anything. But came back and then wrestled again my senior year for a couple tournaments at 126. So I lost some fat and stuff, but and then tore my knee again. And so wrestling was over by like December.
Yeah.
And then I didn't work out again probably until college. Because I think I was like my mindset was so skewed in wrestling through cutting weight and just like that dynamic of you can't eat this because it weighs this much and you have to weigh in whatever it was. And so I just wanted to get so much away from sports and that lifestyle my first year of college and just focus on like college.
Yeah.
But I remember watching the CrossFit games on ESPN with like my dad and brothers, and I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
They're in this massive like football field and they're sprinting up and down the football field, doing pull-ups on a rig.
Yeah.
Overhead lunges down the field with like a barbell, GHDs with a medicine ball at the end of the field, and then they're throwing a ball. And I was like, this is wild. Like, what is happening right now? And so that next year, probably January or February of my sophomore year, I decided to like join a like local gym in Columbia called Base 10. Shout out Base 10.
Yeah. Still going?
No.
They're not still going?
Yeah.
I thought they moved spots and then
they moved spots and then it kind of.
What?
Yeah, I think COVID really put the nail in that coffin, unfortunately.
Freaking COVID shutting down a lot of businesses.
Crazy.
In places.
Especially like gyms too. Like that's like.
Yeah.
That should be the place that you go to.
Yeah.
In health and like when pandemics happen, like you should go to a gym to be healthy.
Dude, I will say this, just kind of funny thing is when COVID happened and you could not go to the gym, the amount of weights that sold out online, dude, and like the bands and everything, like the resistance bands, crazy. I kid you not, I ordered a whole pack of resistance bands at the beginning of COVID, and I didn't get them into the mail until gyms opened back up.
No.
I'm not kidding. I got them, and that was when they started back open up Crunch, where you could go, and the time frame where you go into the gym was shortened.
Right.
But I was like, what I'm supposed to do at the house? Like, I can't go to the gym. So I'm like, that was when the challenges started during COVID. Everybody's doing C10, do 10, like doing all these like squats and stuff like that. And so I remember we had our accountability thing where it was like, all right, bro, like every day for the month or for this month, we're going to do 100 push-ups a day, 100 squats a day, 100 sit-ups a day.
Right.
Like this was when you were in Chattanooga, me and Creed or whatever, like we're back at the house doing our in-home workouts because we had nothing else to do.
Oh yeah.
But that sucked a lot. I mean, it was cool because it was like that's how we stay fit during it. Right. But it was like if I want to go do pull-ups, I got to go get on a tree. Like I'm doing pull-ups on a tree branch.
That's that prison fitness.
Yes, that's like some prison workout stuff. Like we doing push-ups in the just push-ups in the living room or whatever.
Do you like
go outside?
The diamond push-ups too?
We do both. Yeah, do diamond, do like wide, do like plyometric push-ups or like the Superman ones. I started switching it up, just trying doing different ones. And then go outside, maybe do some pull-ups on a tree branch. Because I didn't have like a pull-up bar in my house.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get one because
what branch were you doing?
Bro, there was one in the backyard that I mean it's cut now, but like there was one in the backyard. I'm like, shoot, here we go. I just jump up there and grab a tree branch. Like it was like a shorter tree. It wasn't like a super tall one.
Yeah,
jump up there, grab a tree branch, knock out some pull-ups. Dang. Like what I'm supposed to do? Or maybe go to the park at not the park, but like my elementary school. Yeah. They had like the pull-up bar there, so like go down there, go do some pull-ups. Like. That's
some like Lexington Muscle Beach.
I'm telling you, it was like, it was rough. But anyways, to your point, CrossFit, Base 10, all that stuff.
So started doing CrossFit sophomore year of college, and just fell in love with it, but wasn't good at it. Mm-hmm. Like I couldn't overhead squat. I couldn't pick the bar from because I was so used to like bicep curls, bench press.
Right. Well, like me. No.
And that was really it. Like I didn't do a whole lot of leg workouts. Like I'd done some like box jump stuff and wall balls and jump ropes, mainly just from wrestling, that style of working out. But remember the CrossFit Open happened like a month into me starting CrossFit. And for those of you that don't know, like CrossFit Open is like a worldwide competition where like every gym, there's like this at the time it was 5 weeks. Now it's 3 weeks. But there's one workout released every single week, and you have 3 or 4 days to do it and submit your score. And now you're like on this worldwide leaderboard to see how fit you are in CrossFit.
Wait, so that's what the 221 and all that stuff is? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what that was, but that makes sense.
Yeah. So the Open was happening like a month into me working out, and I was like, I'll try it. Like, why not? And I fell in love with competition. I've always been competitive, especially with like the different sports, like trying to be the best at whatever you can do. But because I was so new to CrossFit, I was so bad at it. But I was like, I want to do, like, I'm good at the gymnastics style stuff. So pull ups, muscle ups, anything body weight stuff. I was like, I can crush that. Like, I've trained my entire life for basically that style of working out. But what I needed to do was get better at like Olympic lifting and powerlifting. So like, I didn't know what a clean and jerk was. I didn't know what a snatch was. I didn't really know how to deadlift like properly. Really? Never really back squatted, and like didn't like, or any other squat variations. Like never was good at it. So I focused so much time and effort into training that. So I would stay after class, back squat, or stay after class and work on my clean and jerks and that kind of stuff. And so fast forward to really kind of why we're talking about this now. I've been doing that for like 7 years now. And squatting and weightlifting is my MO now. Like I love, there's a part of me that's like, oh, maybe I should train specifically for Olympic weightlifting or a powerlifting tournament or meet, because I've still, like, I'm probably 160 right now, 165. But hitting numbers, like I just hit a PR yesterday. Right. Legs are so hurt right now.
Go ahead and let them. Go ahead, shameless plug.
Hit a PR on front squat at 350.
Yeah, like front. We talk about front squat. First of all, just to let y'all know, there's people that's not doing back squat. Well, I mean, there's no hit on the people that are not really working out. This is what I'm saying is there are people who are training back squat, like actually go to the gym and do back squat and are not doing 350. And it's when I saw the video, of him doing it, I'm like, first of all, that's a lot of plates on there. Second of all, he's got this thing on his trachea like this and squatting in a position where all the weight's on the shoulders, like right here. And I'm like,
I'll put the video in like right now so you can see the lift.
It's silly. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. But the cool thing is I understand the enjoyment and the fulfillment of being able to hit a PR. Like it's lit. Like you're just like, even if you're not like at this stage of life right now, you're not competing. No. You are competing against yourself every time you go in the gym. That's pretty much it.
I'm close to 30. I'm not trying to.
Right. Like we're at that age where we're not really, I mean, not saying that you can't do that at our age, but our priority isn't to like get into a competition. Now, maybe if we decide later on, like, oh, you know, why not? Never did it before. Like we're still healthy. Let's try it. But right now, that's not our main thing. So it's not like we're training for a sport or training for a competition or anything. Right. So it's like when you get in the gym and you're like, today's one of the days I'm gonna go for this PR, and you hit it, and it's just like, oh dang, like we've been working. Like it's a cool visual of you put in the work and you get the reward. Absolutely. You know. So it's like seeing him hit that weight, I'm like, whew, boy. Like,
it was wild too. And like I said, I love the weightlifting part of CrossFit now. And so whenever I see the program has like Olympic lifting or weightlifting, like the front of it, I'm like, it's about to be a good day.
Yeah.
So you put on like the right shoes. You have like your favorite shirt you're wearing, like your short. Like you're in it for this lifting session.
Right.
Taking pre-workout, taking creatine, just for this one lift. I mean, the rest of the day was awful. Whatever, it's fine. Like because like when I take pre-workout, it's for weightlifting. Mm-hmm. Pre-workout doesn't do great for like cardiovascular stuff.
I feel like it's worse.
Oh yeah,
it almost makes you feel like you're having a heart attack.
Absolutely,
like
your heart is just
you're like yeah. Like I made that mistake of taking pre-workout before doing Junkyard one day.
No,
yeah. So shout out to Junkyard, y'all are amazing. Love what y'all are doing. Marcus and Ben, y'all are killing it. But I made the mistake of taking a pre-workout before Junkyard because I didn't know the dynamic of what I was.
That's hit.
It ain't nothing but hit. It's nothing but cardio. Like it was a little lifting, obviously as well. But like I took this pre-workout and it was the day that I went was a cardio and an ab day. So it was just cardio and abs, just cardio and core, which was on a Wednesday, I believe. I took this pre-workout. I went in there. And we're having to run on an incline treadmill, sprint.
Oh, your heart is just.
Oh, it's
200 beats per minute.
Like I felt like a rabbit, and and then we had to do bike, and then we had to do a rowing thing, and then it was like core stuff. So in between all this stuff, you're doing core, and you're like in a group thing. And I kid you not, I went and I sat in my car for about 20 minutes before even being able to drive home because I was like,
and your eyes are just like dilated.
Oh yeah, and I'm like.
You're seeing through space.
Yeah, I'm just sitting in the car. I'm like, if this is the moment that I go see the Lord, then this is just gonna have to how it be. Like, this is how it is.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm jittery. I can't stop moving. And even though I'm just like, focus on your breathing, just like bring your breathing down, control it. I thought that was gonna be the day I meet my maker, bro. It was rough, but I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
And just no. If you're doing pre-workout, we recommend that for like weightlifting because, you know, certain pre-workouts, they help you with a pump.
Right.
Other pre-workouts, they help you with the focus more so. Oh, yeah. And so it's just like, those are good for weightlifting. But cardio?
Can't do it.
Nope. Drink some water.
How long have you been, like you went to high school, did that, you went to cheerleading afterwards.
Yes.
Were you doing bodybuilding style working out and cheerleading?
No.
So when did you start doing bodybuilding?
So bodybuilding started, well, not when I first started cheerleading. So my senior year in high school, long story short, my brother and I, we were doing, after I quit football, he actually had quit baseball. He was playing baseball. Morgan was doing baseball.
That makes so much sense.
Yes. Morgan was doing baseball. I was doing football. We quit around the same time for different reasons or whatever. But we ended up going to like these gymnastics gyms. We were like, man, this whole parkour thing. We used to watch videos of parkour.
Oh yeah.
So like you're watching videos of CrossFit. Right. We're watching videos of like parkour and like, dang, these dudes are like tricking and what are all this stuff flipping off of walls? That's sick.
Yeah.
We got a trampoline. Let's try it. So like literally like during the summertime, we were like jumping on trampoline, flipping all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then we would go to these open gyms because these open gyms that we had, we actually went to a gymnastics gym. They had these like little walls that you could like do flips off of and all the kind of stuff sick. Like the rings. And so we got really into that aspect of it. Like, dude, foam pits. Yeah, let's throw double backs in foam pits. Let's just flip our body and see. Yeah, no, I'm serious. Like we were just wild and just at this time we were still about maybe 180, something around that weight. Yeah. So, I mean, we're a little bit closer to being able to have more control like a gymnast would. But we're like, let's just go try to do double backs and double fronts and all these things. Like, that's what we did. And so one of the open gyms we ended up going to, the owner, at the time we didn't know he was the owner, but he came in, he's like, hey, you guys are big. Like, y'all ever think about cheerleading? And we both looked at each other like, this boy has lost his mind. Like, we came out of like manly sports. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like cheerleading. I'm like, bro, the only thing I know about cheerleading is like pom-poms and mini skirts. And I'm like, what you mean cheerleading? You're not about to put me in that. So, because to your point with the gymnast thing, it's like it's like viewed as more of a feminine sport.
Right.
And so I was just ignorant to what it
is
really
a sport,
was.
By the way.
It is.
Cheerleading is such a sport.
Yes. And if you have not seen Cheer on Netflix, watch both seasons. I actually know a couple of people in it. Kind of cool.
Did you like the second season?
Oh, I already finished the second season.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't gotten into it yet.
It was interesting. It was very interesting. But
as good as the first?
Huh?
Was it as good as the first one? I really like the first season.
It was as good as the first, but there's a lot of drama that goes on.
makes sense.
Which is cheerleading.
Yeah,
you can't escape it.
Right.
So, anyways, got into cheer because we walked in and we saw this guy throwing his girl in the air, and I'm just like, this is not what I thought this was. I thought this was more like, go team, you know what I'm saying? All that kind of stuff.
Right.
And honestly, we fell in love with it. We were like, yo, this is really sick. You got some guys over here tumbling, doing like, you know, double fulls on the spring floor. Like, I'm talking about kids. Like at the time,
Double fulls?
Bro, the Payne brothers, I'll never forget them. The Payne brothers, Austin Kuhn, Adam Davenport, a couple other these guys, they were like in a tricking community.
Right.
And so the Payne brothers, they were like, Bailey, Jack, if y'all watching this, shout out to y'all as well. But like when I watch these dudes flipping, I'm like, what on earth?
Yeah.
Like y'all are doing stuff on a floor that me and Morgan were trying to do into a foam pit.
Yeah.
Like double backs, full in back outs, like triple fulls, things like that. They're just spinning. And I'm like, this is like a circus. This is so sick.
Yeah.
So we get into it, we start doing that. Long story short, we do all-star cheer. I do it for 2 years before I end up getting a scholarship to go to Hawaii. So I went to Hawaii and we were training like crazy. We didn't really do a whole lot of weightlifting in it. Really? It was more so we would go to the tumbling gyms. We'd work on our tumbling, work on our stunning technique and all that kind of stuff. Well, during the off season is when we started weightlifting. Yeah. So come springtime after competition, we start weightlifting a little bit. We get into there. Well, the trainer that was there, I met him. His name was Michael, and Michael was a really cool guy. He was like, "Hey man, like you got some potential. Like you know, you got a good frame and everything like that. Like, have you ever considered like lifting, like really getting serious about it?"
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he was the first person I ever had like as a trainer.
This was in Hawaii too.
Yeah, this was in Hawaii. Because everything else, like workout wise, me and Morgan would do is just calisthenics.
Right.
Like we weren't lifting because we're trying to be limber, tumble,
Did
and all that
Morgan
kind
go
of.
with you to Hawaii?
No, he didn't. So Morgan was still at Clemson.
He cheer at Clemson?
He didn't cheer at Clemson. Yeah. So he let go of the cheer thing. But Michael got me into the weightlifting side of things. And I told him, because at that time I knew I was going to be coming back to South Carolina. And I was like, hey man, like I'm really trying to like be over 200 pounds by the time, like I want to reach 200 pounds. Dang. And I was 185. And this is spring. So spring semester, just before you're about to go into summer, I was like, I'm trying to be 200 pounds by the time I go back home. He's like, all right, I got you. If I told you that I didn't do it, I'd be lying. Yeah. Like he put me on a regimen. The workout was upper body, lower body, active recovery day, upper body, lower body, active recovery day.
That's smart. That's
how he started me out.
That's such a good split.
And it was amazing. And it was one of the things that like we'll do just like a couple things for each muscle group and stuff like that. Lower body, like he kicked my tail.
All right. Were you running?
Was I running?
No. Gear?
Oh, no, I wasn't running anything. The only
Nothing?
thing I promise you, I've never done it.
Bro.
I wasn't even on creatine at the time. The only thing he had wasn't even on creatine. The only thing he had me on, he would give me, they had these protein shakes that you could get as you're an athlete. Yeah. He'll give me a protein shake, he'll give me a chocolate milk, and he'll give me a banana right when I got done working out.
Bro, my brother cheered in college. Everybody.
Oh, a lot of people do
Everybody
it.
Was on.
We're not going to get into that, but a lot of people I know have done it.
Bro, he was running some stuff.
I wasn't doing it. I wasn't touching it.
That's crazy.
I've always been scared to do it. I've always
really?
been. Yes. Always been scared to do it. Creatine was even like, ooh, we getting tricky. Like creatine was something I was scared to start.
I'm so curious about it.
I let the curiosity kill the cat. But like,
I want to run some tests so bad.
Like,
just get stupid.
I figure if my body can produce it naturally and I can eat the right things that helps produce it, then that's what I'm gonna do.
That's
but
fair.
with working out with him, with working out with Michael, he gave me the foundation that I needed to step into more of the bodybuilding style stuff. And so when he, like I said, would get a protein shake, get a chocolate milk, get a banana, and then he'd be like, all right, in a little while, go eat. So afterwards, I would go to this place that was like on campus, and I would get this dish, mochiko chicken. It's this fried chicken, this Hawaiian dish. Ooh. Mochiko chicken. It was a fried dish, and like they had pasta salad with everything. So it's rice, mochico chicken, pasta salad, and like a little bit of veggies. I would go eat that. By the time I got, like I said, at the time I was like 180 something, 185. By the time it was time for me to come back home, I was sitting at 203.
So how many months was that?
We started working out. We started lifting seriously in March. So within 3 months.
Dang.
Within 3 months.
Gained 20 pounds?
Yes. About, if not like 15 to 20 pounds.
That's wild.
Yes. He put that weight on me quick. Like, it was one of those things that he knew what he was doing. Like, he was like the first person when it came down to strength training, because he was the guy that did strength training for the football team. Oh, so really? He was one of the main strength and conditioning coaches for the football team when we were out there.
Yeah.
And so I was like, dang, he just took me under his wing. He was like, hey, man, I'll like, you know, not that this matters, but it's a cool black guy that he was like one of the other black guys that was on the strength and conditioning coaching team, you know what I'm saying, or coaches. And he was like, brought me under his wing and everything and showed me the ropes and all that. By the time I got ready to leave, I was dunking as well. Like,
what height?
I'm talking about like full 10 foot off the backboard, like dunking. Like we would, he had me athletic, but also really like,
jacked.
Yeah, just like,
bodied up.
Yeah. I went back home and I was like people were like, what the frick happened? I'm like, the last 3 months.
That's so wild.
Yeah. So that created my fascination for bodybuilding and lifting.
Yeah.
And I didn't have him when I left, but I mean, we stayed in contact a little bit, stuff like that. But once I got back home, I started looking up all these different programs, and I had done the split that he did, and that's all I knew. So I was like, okay, what's another program? Then I stumbled upon Arnold's Blueprint program, which is one of the craziest things. No joke at all. Like, even, and since that, so when I got back, it was 2014, 2015 is when I started changing my splits. I picked up the Arnold back in 2015, and ever since then, every year I do it one time.
So talk about a split for those that aren't in that bodybuilding community. Like we said earlier, like the split between like upper body, lower body, active recovery, upper body, lower body.
Right.
What is a split? What does that mean in regards to like working out?
Yeah. So for me, and it may vary different for other people, right, but for me, a split is, in a bodybuilding sense, I'm knowing that I'm working on a certain muscle group on a certain day. So, and it could change based off of your schedule and all those kind of things. But for the most part, it's a split. Having a workout split helps you be more organized and focused on certain things. So like, let's say a lot of times people have like the gym bro or the gym bro split, where it's like push, pull, legs or something like that. That's a totally different split. So now that allows that person to maybe hit each muscle group twice a week.
Yep.
So the upper body, lower body, active recovery day, upper body, lower body, I'm hitting everything twice a week. Now, some people, they do splits where it's just Monday they do chest, Tuesday they do back, Wednesday they do legs, Thursday they do shoulders, Friday arms. So now you're not hitting everything twice a week.
Right.
You're hitting everything.
But you're hitting that particular muscle group for
the whole workout.
Yeah, the whole workout.
Right. So and it varies for each person. Some things, but I've done each one. I've done each one. Like, do I have a favorite one? It just depends on what I'm trying to do. Like,
what are you doing right now? Like, what's your goal?
What's crazy is
right now.
Yeah, I'm heavy right now.
Dickens.
But we're focusing on trying to hit legs at least 2 to 3 times a week.
That's smart. So
we're focusing more on legs because for me, my upper body grows fast. So it's one of those things where it goes down to the person. Like my chest, my back, my arms, like it doesn't take a lot of stimulation for me to grow those areas, but it takes more for me to really define and build out my legs, my calves and stuff like that. So we're trying to hit legs at least 2 to 3 times a week. But
I'm the opposite.
Right. He's very legs. Like when you see the video that he put it, or if you technically you've already seen it from him putting it in there, but legs. So that's not me. It's the opposite. I think genetics have a huge thing to do with that. But for me, I think one of my favorite splits still to this day is probably doing like chest and like kind of like a push day,
Right.
back day, or pull day, then legs. And then doing push day, pull day, legs.
So what's a typical push workout? Like what workouts are you doing there?
Push workout, some kind of chest, whether it's incline bench or barbell bench, whatever,
Right.
a bench pressing exercise, shoulder pressing exercise,
Okay.
maybe some flies, maybe some eccentric, like, or not eccentric, but like accessory, like dumbbell raises, different things like that. So things that are kind of going to like be more of a pushing motion.
Gotcha.
Triceps are involved in that as well.
Okay.
Going into a pull day, probably do sometimes some deadlifts, sometimes mostly like rows,
Okay.
pull-ups, different things like that are really going to like be a pulling motion.
Right.
Biceps are the same kind of thing. So I throw bis in there with those days.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. And then legs, I mean, it's self-explanatory. Squat, all that kind of stuff. So, but actually recently somebody was telling me that they were doing it. I don't know if it was a Russian style workout where they do front body and then they do back. So they do like chest, abs, biceps, forearms, quads. And then the next day they do pull-ups, like rows, squats, probably hamstrings and calves.
Whoa.
And triceps, because technically that's like the backside. Yeah, they would do front part of the body, backside. And I don't know if that's
wild.
Don't quote me if he said Russians, but yeah, I was like, what? Never heard of that split before. But I'm like, that's interesting. I kind of want to see what that's like.
Interesting. Yeah.
Very different. Because the weird part about it is if you're doing chest, a lot of times you're doing a push motion, which activates your triceps.
Right.
So it's like,
I don't know. That's interesting.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't really know how that works, but yeah.
So what do you you've been doing that since college, or probably like sophomore year, junior year of college. Obviously you're a lot larger now. You said 236, close to 240.
Yeah.
What are your goals now in working out? Is it like just aesthetics? I know I jokingly say I want to look good,
feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look good, feel good, do good. I'll just say that. That's my proverbial like overarching like why I work out. There are some goals that I want to hit, and like right now the CrossFit Open is happening, so I want to be in the top 15,000 of the world is what my goal is. And they were, I think, I don't even know, I probably could look it up, but close to 150,000 people are in this competition. And my goal is to be top 15,000 over the next 3 weeks.
That's sick.
Other than that, though, I have like numbers I want to hit. Like I want to be able to clean and jerk 300 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm so close, especially with this new front squat PR. I feel like I could hit it.
Yeah.
If I'd trained for it. I want to be able to snatch 245. I'm at 225 right now. I want to deadlift 465. I want to bench 255 again.
Yeah.
And then I want to overhead press 185.
Military.
I'm at 175 right now.
That's wild.
So
That's
like
wild.
I have like benchmarks of like powerlifting and some Olympic lifting goals to hit.
Right.
And then the CrossFit Open stuff. Other than that, I don't really have like goals.
Yeah.
But like, are you working toward a goal, or is it more like just working out so you don't go insane and you fight your anxiety or demons or whatever it is?
Yeah, no, the gym is very, I feel like it changes for each season.
Right.
Currently this season, which is about to start to shift into the next season for me, goal wise, has been put on some good solid size, get stronger, and all these different things. But the older I get, and the more I'm recognizing the importance of recovery and mobility, my new goal coming up is to be more athletic again, to like make sure that I'm more limber. So like even though lifting like a lot of weight, like this is not like a bragging moment, but like I've done great numbers before, and I'm like happy with those numbers. And it's not to say that I won't ever try to go past those numbers ever again, But like on bench, like being able to bench 315 consistently for reps is like a goal that I wanted to reach.
That's silly.
And it's like I can like my warm up on bench now can be 225. So it's like I'm at a place, but you have to understand body weight too. I'm 230 something. So it's like 225.
Still, I look at that like warm up at 165. I don't want to do that.
I mean, I'm not saying I do that all the time, but like if I want to go in, like my first like warm up set could be 225, whatever.
Yeah.
But now, now it's like that doesn't really do it for me. It's about being able to control weight. It's about being like functional. So it's like if I wanted to go, because the guys were talking about doing a flag football team. If I wanted to go run out on the flag football team and my hips are in the condition they are in right now, I'm gonna tear something up. Like I'm not trying to do that. Like my IT man is toast.
Yeah.
But it's like I need to be more limber and I need to be more flexible and agile.
Yeah.
Where it's like if I want to go play pickup ball with the boys, I'm not out for 2 days because I'm like my body hurts. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that's my goal going into this season is more stretching, more agility, more almost, I don't want to say CrossFit, but like cross lifting. I want to get more into.
Shout out to Obi Vincent.
Right.
Bro.
He is the gold standard for that. I'm like, like Obi Vincent, y'all can look him up. Dude is a freak. Obi, like OBI Vincent.
Yeah.
VINCENT.
Sure.
Yeah, we could even throw his little IG thing in there. Just be like,
I feel like he don't need the clout anymore. But
he doesn't.
Yeah, sure.
But if you just want to look at the person that we're talking about as a reference, like I'm not saying I want to be his size, but dude is like,
maybe.
Yeah. If it's natural, if it's all natural, you know what I'm saying, we can.
Yeah. Well, I want to do a part 2 to this.
Yes, let's do that.
Where we can kind of dive into supplements. Yeah. Because I know we didn't talk about. I mean, we talked a little bit like jokingly with like creatine and stuff, whatever it is. But I want to get into supplements. I want to talk more about that. I want to talk meal plans. I want to talk training regimens and like actual workouts and that kind of stuff. I feel like that's beneficial for people here. But thank you guys for coming and listening. I want to plug kind of like some stuff that we were doing. As you see, DHB stuff is in.
Yes.
We have new merch out. This is one of the Drop Tail t-shirts. We have hoodies. We have women's crop tops. We have fitted crop tops. We have a dad hat that is sick. We have a bucket hat.
Love the dad hat.
Yeah.
That has got stitching on it too. So it's not like the actual just like print on it. It's like actual stitching, which is cool.
And we have a t-shirt that has stitching on it with the DHB logo, bucket hats. And the hoodies and sweatshirts still, pump covers, whatever you want to call them. Speaking of like fitness stuff. So check out DHB clothing at dhbclothing.com.
For sure.
We're launching a Patreon. So we're going to do kind of shorter, kind of off the cuff style of podcasting, Q&A, live Q&As. Maybe, I don't say like unfiltered, but maybe,
just raw. It's uncut.
Raw.
It's
uncut. Raw and uncut. It's a great way to put that. So we were talking about it last night, doing some Q&A sessions in the ice bath or Q&A sessions on the top of our roof or
just random things.
Like while we're cooking or just whatever it is. So like that's gonna be on our Patreon. That'll be linked down in the bio in the show notes of this podcast. So thank you guys for supporting us. Last minute recommendations for this week. Anything you want to plug?
Last minute recommendations.
I feel like music or clothing or.
I mean, I don't. I mean, people, just to let y'all know, if you haven't heard yet, I have released the album. Well, we technically release an album under Kings and Queens Productions. It's called Gather. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been listening. I'm going to do an official video. Thank you, everybody, soon. But thank you if you've been listening to it. Been getting a lot of great feedback from those who have reached out to me about it. So I'm very thankful for that. That's not what my recommendation is, but I'll say, I'll keep it very similar to what we're talking about. We're relevant. if you are looking to get into fitness and working out, don't be afraid to make mistakes. And don't be afraid, I guess, well,
I would say even ask for help at the gym.
Right. Ask for help, and also try your best not to go into it from a comparison state, because there are going to be people, for instance, we were talking about the whole running testosterone, whatever kind of thing, like kind of slightly, but you don't know everybody's story.
Right.
So if you're going in, you're like, oh my gosh, how is this girl look this way, or this guy looks this way? It's like, you don't know what they went through to look that way.
Right.
There's a mutual friend of ours, like, she kills it in the gym, and she got some haters, but it's like fitness for her in her time was like, that was her therapy, because she was going through some stuff.
It's so much more than just going to the gym for aesthetics.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, you put in the work, you're going to get the results, but try not to compare yourself with other people in the gym. If anything, look at it as like, dang, that person's killing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, celebrate people. Yeah. And all
that's
that.
That's a good one. Yeah. So that's a real good one. So this releases on March 2nd. So Wednesday. So I would say my recommendation as we enter springtime, as it does come up, it's just stupid, but take some vitamins. Bro, I'm on this Sambucol gummy right now. It's like like elderberry maybe.
Ooh, elderberry is good though. It helps with your immune system.
That's what I'm saying.
My mom literally is like, you need to take some elderberry. I'm like, I don't need no elderberry. And then when I get sick, I'm like, where the elderberry?
Should have got the elderberry. Yeah. So as seasons change, get you some elderberry, get you some vitamins. Don't get sick out here. Y'all stay healthy.
Some elderberry. It sounds like such an old person.
Oh, I'm old head, bro. I don't even care anymore.
No offense to old people. It's just elderberry.
Yeah. It's good too, though.
Yeah.
But that's my rec. It's stupid.
I got the droplets, like the little tincture elderberry.
Oh, I got gummies.
You do the gummies. That is.
I love a gummy. I love a gummy.
No, I feel that. I got some mushroom gummies that help with like anxiety. It's not like that. Listen, it's not
like ashwagandha.
No, it's not like ashwagandha. What is ashwagandha? Can we talk about these TikTok trends things too one day? Because like people are like, oh, take this medicine, take this little root from whatever, and it's like, where did you find this? But
mushroom gummies.
So I actually got it from Supreme Nutrition. Shout out to y'all. And the mushroom gummy actually helps with like if you've dealt with like anxiety and different things like that. It helps just like calm you down. Like cool you, huh?
I think it's ashwagandha.
Hey, this one don't say ashwagandha. I could read the bottle, but anyways, it's very good for relaxation. It's not a psychedelic. It's not that kind of mushroom gummy. So I wouldn't teach us on, but the one that I'm taking, I feel like it's it's been very good for like restfulness and stuff like that. So
that's dope.
Yeah,
vitamins. Get into it.
Get them.
Cool. Yeah, check me out. IG and TikTok at _Thomas Stroud _ got a YouTube channel called Coffee and Cocktails. That's a fun one.
Super fun to watch.
Yeah, if you guys aren't watching this on YouTube, this podcast does have a video version of it on YouTube at the Kings and Queens Productions YouTube page. Plug your socials.
Yeah, socials. Why did I just blank? We run so many pages. I forgot what my personal was.
At life of _L.
At life of _EL.
Yeah.
And then for like music needs, like music production stuff, if you need some beats or whatever for your YouTube videos or for other stuff, would love to do that kind of stuff. So if you need that kind of thing, you can follow the Sir Ellington and DM me.
Yeah.
And we can chop it up about some music. So
that's dope. Yeah. And then clothing line at DHB _clothing. And then the production company at Kings and Queens Pro. Yeah. And then follow us on Instagram.
We'll change the name.
Yeah, we'll change the name. It'll be in the show notes, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Dope, dude. All right. We're going to head out and go to some meetings.
Got a meeting.
Cool. Peace.
See you.